Alright, so Rogue. Rogue is a class that exists. Lab Recruiter, probably the best Rogue card. One of the best 2-drops we've seen in quite some time. It's Gang Up on a Stick. You've probably heard a lot about this already. It's just a great card. Going to see play Standard and Wild. One thing that is worth noting that you've also probably heard already, you can only do this with Baleful Banker, but I mean it's a little bit better with this because it's a better card. Is with the hero card, if you just have one of these in your hand, you just play it optionally on another minion, doesn't matter. But you play it and then you play the Shadow Reflection copy on it, and you just never fatigue, like literally never fatigue. Truly infinite. So that's cool. You can already do that with Baleful Banker, but again, you're not running Baleful Banker in Rogue normally. But you would be running this. And even outside of that, like this is just a powerful card. Pogo Hopper, often compared to Jades, and it is actually comparable. It ramps up faster, but it's notable that you only have 2 Pogo Hoppers. In a Jade deck, you had like the average Jade deck had like 7 Jade cards. You know, you have 2 Pogo Hoppers, so it's kind of like it ramps up faster once you do get them, and you're in Rogue, so it ramps up faster, like it gets +2/+2 instead of +1/+1 every time. And also you can do it more because you can like Shadow Step it and other bounce effects. So that's cool. But you have to think like there's going to be games where you just don't draw a Pogo Hopper. Like you just don't. It's just going to happen. That's the game. So you need to have a backup plan. You can't if you just have a Pogo Hopper deck. Like that's your strategy. That's way less consistent than like a Jade deck. Like you could just play Jades, and that was a somewhat consistent strategy. It was a very consistent strategy, actually. You can't just play Pogo Hoppers and be like, "Yep, that's what I'm doing," because there's only 2 in the deck, right? You need more going on there. So I think the reality is that sounds really fun, but this would probably be, if it sees play, there'll be more like a Pogo Hopper package that you put into some other kind of deck. Probably also using like Lab Recruiters, probably using Striders, and so sometimes you'll be bouncing other things, you'll be shuffling other things into your deck. It won't always be Pogo Hoppers, and then occasionally you'll just get a Pogo Hopper hand and go nuts with it. And that sounds fun. It's a very cool card. I don't know how great it'll actually be in reality, just because it's not a quest and there's only 2 copies of it. So I mean, it is what it is. Maybe if Rogue had like a 1-mana draw on that card, but nah, they don't have that. Necreon Blade. So historically, 3-mana 3/2 weapons with effects have been good, and historically, weapons with death rattles have been good. So this is both of those things. So it should be good, and it is good. The issue is not with this card; it's with the death rattle pool. There's not really a lot of super powerful death rattles you'd want to play in Rogue at the moment to enable this. So it's just a matter of like, if you can find targets for this, it probably has to be more than one. Like you need a variety of things that you would play in the early game, like by turn 4, that you would want to get extra, like play dead effect style things with Necreon Blade. If that's a thing, then this is a great card, but it just needs support, I think. Violet Haze, similar issue regarding the card pool. I don't think this is a great card, but so 3 mana, create 2 cards. That's a pretty nice spot. Normally you want to be drawing more than just creating cards, and it's not a discover or anything, so you're just randomly getting stuff. The quality of death rattles is pretty low. Or it's pretty average. So you're getting like 3 mana, you get 2 pretty average cards. Rogue can be doing better stuff, I think. So I don't really see that having a home. Academic Espionage. This card's really interesting. Yes, you have to draw the cards. I've seen this before. People are like, well, it's bad because you got to spend 4 mana doing nothing. And then you got to draw the cards. And then the cards can be bad. You get a silence and you have 1 mana silence and you're dumb and you're dead. Like, mathematically speaking, the majority of cards in the entire game, if you just set their cost to 1, they're overpowered. Like, that's just a factual statement. the vast majority of cards in Hearthstone, if you take them and set their cost to 1, they are overpowered. That is a fact. All right? And so mathematically, it is also a fact that you are far, far, far more likely to get mostly broken cards shuffled into your deck than 1-mana silences or similar effects, right? That's just math. You can't argue with math. It's like it just is. The numbers don't lie. You're also gonna get like maybe 1 or 2 really, really bad cards per casting. That's true. You're also going to get, 8 to 9 really, really broken cards per casting. And yeah, you have to draw them, but you're in Rogue. Rogue can draw a lot of cards. Rogue is actually best known for drawing cards historically. That's just what the class kind of does. They have an entire archetype that's just, we draw cards. That's all we do. And yeah, it costs 4 mana to do nothing, but prep exists. There are ways around all of these issues. I don't think this is like a powerhouse best card ever kind of thing, but I think it is respectable, and it could be archetype defining. Like this could be a serious thing. Like the numbers don't lie. This should be good. If it's not good, I don't know what the fuck's going on anymore. All right, but the math is what it is. It should be good. Blight Nozzle Crawler. This card's really weird. This card's really weird. The Death Rattle is very powerful if it happens on your turn. A targeted destruction is extremely powerful. Like we were talking earlier about children outside. It startled me. We were talking earlier about how like Goblin Bomb is very powerful. Dude, I hate talking when people are talking over me. So it's so hard to think. Goblin Bomb is very powerful if you get multiple like triggers of the effect. This is a much better Death Rattle, and it's better stats, but it feels worse because it's in Rogue. I guess that they do have play dead effects now, but like I don't know. It just feels bad. Rogue's play dead effects are so expensive relative to Hunters, and they don't have anything else going for it other than this one. So maybe this is enough to make a deck come together. We'll see. It's an intriguing card. It looks really bad, but I think it's better than it looks. It's just one of those things I don't know if it has the support. Crazed Chemist. So you're packaging a 4/4 with a Cold Blood. So that sounds terrible. That sounds terrible. Normally Cold Blood you would want to put on something that's going to slam your opponent in the face. So like a cheap Charger or something like that. This isn't this. You're just getting a random 4/4. You don't really want the 4/4. You could just be playing Cold Bloods instead of this. That being said, it does cost 5, and Baku Rogue right now is just kind of putting shit into the deck because they don't know what else to do with their lives. So it could be that something in that gets cut to make room for this. Like, not because it's a good card, but because it costs 5, and it puts a body onto the board, and it makes one of your other bodies really big and scary. And maybe that's just good enough to put enough pressure into the deck to make it better than it currently is, and maybe not. Like, I can't think of anywhere else this would see play, so if it doesn't work there, it's just probably a bad card. It's probably a bad card in general, but it might be a bad card that just works because of the environment. In Arena, it's probably good. In Arena, this is probably a really good card. But nobody plays Arena. Yeah, Myra. I feel like people are really missing that this says discover a Death Rattle minion, period. Also, everyone I've seen cover this card seems to be treating it as you discover a Death Rattle. But that's not what it says. I'm just going by what it says. I don't know if the devs have clarified otherwise. But as written, this looks like you get the Death Rattle, and then you also get a copy of the minion that provided the Death Rattle. Right? So it's not just 5 mana 4/2 random Death Rattle. It's 5 mana 4/2 random Death Rattle, plus generate a card that has that, a Death Rattle. And it's a discover. So the Death Rattle pool is kind of meh right now, but when you're discovering from a meh pool instead of a terrible pool, you can probably hit something that's pretty okay most of the time. So you can get a pretty okay Death Rattle minion, or even a great one some of the times on this. So it's like acceptable, and then also it's generating a card with an acceptable Death Rattle. And sometimes it's just going to be... Sometimes it's just going to be bonkers. You know, like you get a... Was it Mechanical Whelp? Whatever the new 6-drop is. Like 5 mana, 4/2, Death Rattle, summon a 7/7, and then you also get a free Mechanical Whelp whenever you have the time to play it. That sounds pretty good. Yeah, I think it's a pretty reasonable card. It's not like, again, this is not a deck-defining build-around card. You just throw it in something, and it does something. So cool. Yeah, Myra's Unstable Element. Reload for Baku Rogue, yeah. But what I want to see is Mechathune. Mechathune is where it's at. Just get that whole fucking deck out of here. We don't need it. Discard the whole thing and then destroy the world. I don't know. This is one of those cards where it's just like so ridiculous. You know, who knows if it's going to be good. Certainly it's going to be in highlight videos. Yeah, I think you're mostly looking for like combo potential or reload for aggro decks. I don't think this is going to be good for like the Strider, like shuffle spiders in and then draw your whole deck kind of idea people are throwing around. You're going to burn a lot of the spiders, probably. So, I don't know. It doesn't seem worth it there. Or like you play it with the academic espionage or whatever. And then you're going to burn most of your broken cards. Maybe you draw them. I don't know. We'll have to see. That seems like the worst option out of the reload and combo ones, though. And then finally, we have Play Dead twice for 5 mana for some reason. Like, this is not a bad card, but why? Why does it cost 5? Like, it's a 1 mana effect, right? They know it's a 1 mana effect. It's a 1 mana effect. And then it creates another copy of a 1 mana effect. So it's like 2 mana, but then you account for generating a card. So this is like 3 mana, maybe 4 if you're a dick. Why is this 5? Where did you get that number from? Where did you get that number from, Blizzard? Plus it's in Rogue, which is like no death rattles. It's like no death rattles. Like Hunter has significantly more efficient versions of this effect. And better death rattles. Why does this cost 5? In Rogue, this should definitely cost like 3. 4 if you're a dick. Like I don't understand what they're doing. This card makes no sense to me. It's not a bad card. It's just like crazy overpriced. So I don't know. There you go.